1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose, you better
stay. What's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. You already know what time it is, man. Today I got a fire interview. We got the homie on here, Little Rock from Delman Heights, San Bernardino. I done some time with him in Ironwood. And man, he has an extremely intriguing, riveting, and sad story to keep it real, you know, about his life growing up in San Bernardino, becoming involved with gangs, so on and so forth. Man, I've been hollering at him for a minute, trying to connect with him. We finally got him on today. Hey, thank you, Little Rock, first and foremost, for coming through, homie. And I appreciate you for sharing your story with me. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, homie. Good to see you on this side of the fence. I know we ran across each other one time at a park in San Bernardino, so it was, you know, always good to see you, man, on this side of the fence. Like I said, y'all, he got an extremely interesting story, so we're gonna try to hop quickly into it, man, because it's a lot to talk about. So like I said, Rock, you are from Delman Heights in San Bernardino, so tell us a little bit about what year you was born and things of that nature.
I was born in 1979. Born at community hospital. You know, from there, stayed with my mom for a minute. We ended up moving up north when we was kids to San Francisco, Oakland, then San Francisco.
And then, so as you explained to me, you eventually moved up north for a little while. You and your brothers and sisters went into the system, and then eventually your grandmother got you. You came back to California. You came back to San Bernardino.
California,
yeah. And you eventually moved into the Delman Heights neighborhood. And we'll probably cover more of that in another interview, but I want to get to the meat of this story. You eventually started gang banging and claiming the Delman Heights area, which is a blood hood, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Like I said, after my grandmother had ended up getting custody of us, we stayed in the projects for quite a few years, maybe like 3 years that I can remember, maybe 3 or 4. And then we ended up moving over to Delman Heights with my auntie, which is my grandmother's sister. And that's when I was kind of exposed to it. But I mean, I was 10, 11 years old, so I wasn't out there like fully gang banging like that. But I mean, we was claiming it,
And so. And like he said, he was born in 79. So this is maybe around 86, 87, somewhere up in there. And so when you moved into the Delman Heights area, when did you notice the presence of Bloods?
Well, I noticed the presence as soon as I got there. Like I was telling you, in like 87, 88. I used to go to Delman Heights to go play with my older cousin. So I had an older male cousin. He was all into sports. And then at the time, my auntie used to always come pick me up every Friday. And her boyfriend that she was with at that time, he was very involved into like my cousin, playing sports and stuff. So on Friday, he would go, to his games and stuff like that. But I mean, like I was seeing it, but I wasn't like hanging out, nothing like that, because I wasn't allowed. I used to always ride, like he had a big wheel, some type of little bike as a kid, so I used to be able to stay in between. My auntie's house was right here, and in between these two houses, I couldn't go past those two houses on a little sidewalk. So I wasn't, hanging around there like that. But later on, once my grandma moved over there, Then I started to get out, going to elementary school over there, going to junior high, stuff like that. Then that's when I started noticing, I used to see it a lot more.
Right. And so fortunately, Little Rock has completely changed his life around now, man. He's doing real good. He's he's working, he's doing great things in his life, man. But at one point in time, you had an extremely serious name in the streets. I remember upon meeting you in Ironwood, maybe around 2000, 2001, that was the first time that I met him, because where he lives is actually about 30 or 40 minutes from where I'm from. So, I'm not knowing what's going on out there. But upon meeting him, I learned that he had a very serious name in the streets. And please let us know, what do you think is the incident that really just turned you up in the streets, as they say, really just made you hop off the porch and get with all the activities?
In '96, once my little cousin got killed, that's when I really, at that time, I realized, like, this is real, and either I'm gonna do two things. Like, and it's crazy because one of my homeboys, one motor homies, when that happened, he came talk to me. He was like, man, you got an option. He said, either you're going to be in it, or right now it's time to change your life and do something, with your life. But at the time, I choose, man, I'm in it,
Right. And so, as he said, he lost a cousin, and actually he'll get into that, but his cousin was only 11 years old at the time. And so one of his older homies came to him and basically, like he said, told him, hey, homie, you can see this stuff is serious, man. So either, you take this direction or you take that direction, which sometimes happens when, unfortunately, individuals' lives are lost in the streets. Sometimes, people, they realize, hey, this is real, and I'm gonna either go full force with the gang banging, or I'm gonna get my life together. And so, Rock chose to, hop full force in the gang banging. I think, as many people would do when we are in a world that sometimes we have influences around us that are encouraging us to gang bang, or we lose people that are important to us. I think that revenge is sought by everyone. Sometimes people just take different measures of getting revenge, So if you don't mind, Rock, go into, how that happened and stuff, and walk us through, that day.
Well, actually, that week prior to that, I was, like I said, I was in a juvenile facility, like a little boys' home, and
excuse me for interrupting. Let me just remind the people watching, at the time he's only 14 or 15 years old. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was in a little juvenile, like, little boys' home, was out there committing petty crimes and going back to the hospital. They ended up taking me from my grandma, putting me inside of a little, boys' facility or whatever at that time. So, at that time, I was with, my girlfriend at the time. We was young. So at the time, like, when I was in that little boys' home, I ended up getting a call from my sister, which was kind of rare because she never called me. So I was like, I instantly felt something was going on with my grandma. So I got on the phone with her. She, tell me, hi, how you doing? I said, what's going on? She was like, oh, nothing. So she was kind of like beating around the bush about something. I was like, man, what's up? Like, what's is everything good? And she was like, yeah, but I got to tell you something. I said, what you got to tell me? She was like, man, the girlfriend at my girlfriend at that time was talking to one of my friends over there. So after she told me that, I ended up getting upset. And throughout that whole week, I was just basically acting up in school. I was going to a little probation school, a little juvenile hall school that they had in San Bernardino. So at the school, we was out there playing basketball, and I'm like, my mind was totally somewhere else, and I ended up getting, like, basically, like, ruffling people up on the basketball court. So, like, when the kid like, man, why are you fouling? I said, man, shut up, man, play ball. So then he said something, so I didn't end up socking on him, fouling. I ended up socking him. So we started fighting, and as we fighting, the PE teacher like, man, what y'all doing? So break it up. So we ended up breaking up. They called it security. So they walking us to the office. As they walk into the office, this dude take it upon himself. He want to come with me or whatever, So we end up fighting again right then and there. So we end up in the office, and the principal like, what's going on, Mr. Coach? Man, you've been having incident after incident. And I felt embarrassed to say what it really was. I'm like, man, So then the PE teachers start to say something. Like basically, oh, he been doing this, and I said, man, shut up. So I took a little reward that Principal had on the desk, and I threw it at him. When I threw it at him, it went right past his head. So the security guard grabbed him, whatever. So they ended up calling the facility that I was in. So when they called the facility, they ended up calling Mr. C. And all I could hear is Mr. C like, man, take him to juvenile hall. Just go ahead and take him inside juvenile hall. Take him to juvenile hall. So I'm like, man. So then his wife was on there. Like I was telling you in another interview that his wife was actually helped us get out the system. So she already had, she already knew me. You know what I'm saying? She knew my grandma and them, all of them, growing up. So she was like, no, don't do that. I'm finna come. So she come down there in her little truck. She had a Dodge truck with rims and music. It was crazy because she was an older lady. So we sitting up in the truck. She said, what's going on? So I'm like, man, I didn't see my grandma. So I lied to her, told her I need to go home to my grandma, but really what it was, I was trying to go home to save my relationship as a kid.
Right.
So she bit, you feel me? But she still kind of like, she knew me as a kid. So she was like, nah, man, something else is wrong. So she's like, all right, with this, man, you've been messing up and I'm not even supposed to do this, because technically you're supposed to, we had a little point system, a little, chores stuff around the place when we supposed to do stuff like that. But I wasn't even supposed to go home. You know what I'm saying? I went to home, so I built up my point system. I mean, because they had a point system, but I was down at the bottom. So anyways, so she's like, I'm gonna let you go home, since I know your grandma. So she ended up taking me to the boys' home, get some of my stuff, and take me to my grandmother. And it was crazy. I'm like, damn, no, she don't tell my, ask my grandma like he came up for you. But nah, they started talking about something else, and then she ended up leaving. I leave. So to make a long story short, that was Friday. I'm home on the weekend. Found out it was the truth, but so that Sunday, I believe it was that morning, because I want to say it was Super Bowl Sunday, if I ain't mistaken. My auntie came and dropped my little cousin off. So me coming home as a kid, I was always the leader out the crew. So, like, I'm not gonna say big homie, but I was the one that everybody that hung around us, I was like the leader. I was the one who, kind of ran our crew pretty much. So, they come, a lot of those, like a lot of my homeboys coming over, seeing whatever. So he came, and then when he came, his grandma was like, man, Christopher, drop him off. Y'all walk him home later on because I'm not gonna be able to come back and pick him up.
So when you say he, you're talking about your cousin?
Yes, my little cousin Vanell. So
okay.
Like, yeah, man. We kids. I'm telling her, all right, Auntie, all right, yeah, I got him. Don't trip. We all gonna walk home. So once the sun went down, but you got to keep in mind, I'm tripping on my little girlfriend. I'm not caring about nothing else in the world. I'm like tripping on that, like focus on that, So everybody coming over, So later on that night, I had 3 homeboys, what I'm saying, that was over there, and they was gonna ride their bikes back to the hood. And I'm like, man, drop him off, like take him, they'll all right, tell him come on, like. But he was like, I don't want to go with them. I'm like, why? He's like, I want you to take me. I said, all right, man. So they ended up leaving. So as I'm gonna basically walk him home, 2 of my other homeboys pulled up, walk across. She's like, what's up? And I said, what's up? I said, I gotta take him back to the hood. So my homeboy Eugene, they called him was like, well, y'all gotta go. I said, all right, take him. I'm saying? Go ahead, take him. Because I didn't want to go. Like I said, I was trying to save my little relationship. I said, I didn't want to leave the block. I didn't want to leave the house. I'm trying to get my girl back. Like, I ain't trying to be, go. I ain't even trying to go back to the place. I wasn't going to go back to the place, to be honest with you. But so he like, man, nah, man, pill a car. I'm like, I don't want to pill no car, homie. He was like, I'm like, man, I'm telling them I'm home on the hall pass. Why am I gonna go commit a crime? Because I already know if I commit a crime, they're gonna send me straight to youth authority. So I don't want no car, like, man, So he's like, man, well, just come teach us. So as we walking, like we started walking up Western. Yeah, Western. So because Pico Western, Western in the projects. Because I stay in the house off 11th in the Western. So we walking to Western. I remember like my little cousin, he just wasn't acting himself. Like he wasn't playing, like he used to like spit, pick a rock up off the ground and spit and throw it on you. And like you would think that he spit on you, right? So he took off when you have to chase and stuff like that. Like he was doing little kid stuff, but he wasn't doing none of that. So as we walk and we get over Olive Street, and as we get over Olive Street, the next street is 10th Street. So as we get over 10th Street, he like stopped and he looked and he started walking. I said, "What's up?" And he was like, "She gonna come back." I mean, shut up, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was tripping over my, girl. So I'm like, "Man, shut up." He's like, "No, for real, she's gonna come back." All right, man, come on. So we end up walking across 9th Street, going down this little side street by the park, by the baseball park they had over there. I want to say 6th Street or 6th Street. But they had just built some senior homes over there for older people. So we didn't go up in there. We ended up peeling a car. So I'm sitting there teaching these dudes how to peel cars, like stealing cars 1-on-1. Like, you do this and pop the window, do that. So when I start the car up, I said, "Boom, okay, y'all go." Then they're like, "Nah, man, you drive." I'm like, "Man," and I looked at my cousin, like, "Man, all right, man, come on." So boom, so we drive, we go through the little projects or whatever, go up 9th Street, come down Pennsylvania. They had a street. It's a school right there now. You can't go down. You can't go up 9th Street, make that right on Pennsylvania, and go to Baseline. So at the time you can, now you can't. So we went up Pennsylvania. I was supposed to go straight through Pennsylvania and go through, like the states and all that, and go turn up 16, go down Cali and do that. But something in my mind was like, "Man, just turn right here." So I turned just to go down California. At this time, I was unaware of what had happened prior to that day, So as I turned,
So for those who may not know, you happen to be driving through a neighborhood who your neighborhood was beefing with and kind of at war with.
badly war, like, as a kid, like I said, I wasn't ever school, like, because like, I wasn't, like, I knew it was phone, you know what I'm saying? Because I was in juvenile hall and stuff with these kids, and I'm fighting them, so I know it's like, it's beef, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not knowing, like, the depth and how serious it was, you know what I'm saying? I just thought, like my older homies doing what I'm doing, fighting them and seeing them and chasing them, and, it wasn't really like gunplay, because I wasn't really playing with guns like that. I used to, have one, but I wasn't shooting nobody and riding around and shooting on the cars and nothing like that, I wasn't doing that.
And so briefly just explain. So unbeknownst to you, something that happened earlier that day. What had happened earlier that day?
Well, earlier that day, they ended up chasing one of my homeboys and airing him out, but didn't kill him or nothing, but aired him out. Like, I heard that he had, after the fact, I heard that they shot his car up so bad he had oil coming out the side of the car, like
Right.
oil shooting out the side of the car, but I didn't know that.
Right. And so for those watching the video, not familiar with the term, they aired his homeboy out. He's basically talking about some other gang members had shot at his homeboy in an attempt to shoot him, take his life or whatever, So go ahead.
But and all this is public, all this is, everybody knows, so it ain't like I'm dry snitching, nothing like that. But yeah, they end up getting at one of my homies, one of my older homies. But I didn't know, like I said earlier that day. So when we turned down California, I'm finna go down Colorado Street. When I'm finna turn on Colorado Street, I turned in and then I turned out, because I was like, I don't want to go through there, you know what I'm saying? But then my homie in the back seat, Eugene's like, "Man, just go, man, stop acting scary, man. You know what I'm saying? Just go, we good." You know what I'm saying?
So one quick time too. How many of you guys are in the car?
It's 4 of us.
Okay. And what's about the ages of you guys in the car?
Well, the oldest was 16. Eugene was 16. He a year older than me, a year and a half older than me. So I think I was like 14 or 15. He was 16. Then my other homeboy, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got permission to say his name, you know what I'm saying? But everybody that know who I'm talking about. But he was probably like 13.
Okay.
About 13. And then my little cousin was 11.
Okay. And so go ahead.
So when I went in and I went out, like, because I didn't want to go. And then he was like, "Man, just go. And then my other homie in the front seat like, "Man, just go. Come on, man, we good." So when we turned in there, and as we turned in there, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I seen them kind of out, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I ain't tripping. Like, we kids. I wasn't, so I just, rolled. And then as I'm riding through there, something in my mind was like, "Man, go to my auntie's house." I had an auntie that stayed in the gardens on the dark side. You know what I'm saying? So something like, man, just go to your auntie house. And I'm like, nah. So as I turned down this one little street to turn on State Street, I did the same thing. Like, damn, should I go over here? Or should I just go down stage? So I just, man, let me go down stage. You know, so that's the second mistake I made, you know, because they was watching us, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
on State Street, you know what I'm saying? You know, so then once I got down State Street, maybe like the football, 94, maybe 20 yards, 20, 30 yards down on stage. Boom. And then all I hear is all the shooting. Boom, 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 like just shooting. And every time I try to raise my head up, it's just bullets just wheezing through. I'm just down in the car like this. And I don't want to do this because I want to be able to see. So I'm basically looking up over the steering wheel at the sky to kind of like keep me straight, you know. So I'm just driving and they just shooting. I just at some point doing this, I just closed my eyes, homie, and I just closed my eyes and just all I heard was just stuff knocking down, like windows falling out and pieces of the car ricocheted me. You know, honestly, I thought I was getting hit because all the ricochets from the glass and pieces of the car hitting me and stuff like that. And I just closed my eyes and just kept my foot on the gas. And you know, at the time we were listening to Damu Riders. I think that kind of pumped us up to go through there too. We listened to Damu Riders when Damu Riders had that red tape. You know,
Right.
You know, they even shot that. They shot the tape. Like, you know, that's how many times that they hit the car. So once all the shots had stopped, then I came up. When I came up, I'm basically on Highland. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically like right there on Highland. When I came up, I looked to my right. My homeboy, he was like, I'm like, you good? He's like, yeah. And I was like, y'all good back there? Y'all good? And I didn't hear nothing. So I look back there and I see the homie was basically had my cousin like this and his body like this on him. So you could tell at one point he was trying to shield the bullets, in which actually he did, but he ended up dying. My cousin ended up dying though. But he was trying to shield my cousin. You could tell the position he was in. So when I look up, I'm like, damn, it's straight ahead when you're across Highland, they got a store called, it's not called Top Cat, now it used to call Top Cat. So I'm like, I don't want to turn it near because that's their hood store. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, if you look at Doggy Style video, that store Doggy Style at, that's the store I'm talking about. So I'm like, no, I can't go to that store. Like, so I just made a right, went down Highland to California and turned up into AMPM. When I turned up to AMPM, I jump out the car. When I jump out the car, I try to go grab my cousin. When I couldn't grab him because was basically on him.
Now
So
let me ask you a question real quick for those not familiar with that area. From the time the shooting started to the time you pulled over in the AM/PM, about how long were you driving?
it felt like 2-3 hours, man.
Uh-huh.
You know, shit. I drive trucks now to this day, man. I'll be doing some of the routes, man. It felt like it was longer than the route, man. To be honest with you, but
Right.
you know, it really. I mean, if I had to guess, I'd probably say about like 2-3 minutes, probably.
Right. But just due to the I guess to the excitement of the situation, due to the seriousness of the situation, it seemed like you were driving longer than you actually were.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so sorry. So when you jumped out, you said you went over there to open the door.
I went over there to open up the door, but I couldn't get him because was on. So I tell my homie, go in the store and call 911. So when I walk over to the other side to open the doors, it kind of like because the other homie, Genie, he was gone. Like you wouldn't know life. Like I said, once I opened up the door, chill, his arm, bro, like no exaggeration. His arm fell like on his lap, like boom, like this, like his arm fell, and from his elbow on up was swinging over this way. So his arm was in one spot, and his elbow was in another.
So they had completely shot his arm off.
Yeah, but they actually shot the car. You know what the detectives and everything said. Told us later on that they shot the car with an AK-47.
Mm.
So, you know, and you know, so he was all gone, bro. Like all this was all ate all up, like all like his whole eye, all that was his brains, bro. Though, like it was like something like off the Faces of Death, like something that you would see right now in Gaza or off the Gaza Strip. That's the war that's actually going on right now. It's something like that, man. And then I'm like tripping because I'm like, what am I seeing? Like, what is this? Like, so as I'm doing that, I run up in the store because the homie come out like, they ain't let me use the phone. So I went up in there, I go and snatch the whole phone from the broad in the back. And I called 911, like, man, we been shot at, man, my cousin shot. So I run back outside. When I run back outside, two of my homeboys pull up, my homeboy Conrad and my older and one of my OG homies, or he had a red pickup truck. So they pull up. And when they put it, like, I said, what happened? I said, Vanell. So when I went and told Connor Vanell, they went over there, both hopped out the truck. They took off of Vanell and grabbed Vanell and put him in the car, in the truck with them. And then they ended up driving to the hospital. And then we looked at like, we didn't want to leave him. Like, we was like, but he was gone, homie. He was lifeless. You know what I'm saying? Vanell wasn't lifeless because you could hear him breathing. Like trying to breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we left. You know what I'm saying?
And so let me ask you real quick, homie. Like you said, you 14, you 15 years old. So I know a situation like that would be horrific for anybody to see, homie. But at 14 years old, when you saw something like this, what was going through your mind? Do you recall what you was thinking or anything like that?
At that time, it felt like a dream. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, homie. It felt like a dream. I'm pinching myself. I'm shaking my head trying to wake up. It felt like a dream because I'm asking myself, like, how can, like, damn, God, like, why would you let us go through this? Like, it just felt like a dream, man. Like, instantly, boom, I just went numb. Right after that, once I asked God and I didn't get no answers, you know what I'm saying, or nothing, I just went numb. When I went numb, that's when everything just like, excuse my language, but everything was like, man, this is it,
And so how long after that did when your homeboys took your little cousin to the hospital and all that stuff, did you find out about his condition? Did he pass away?
Well, he was on life support. I believe he went on life. He got shot January 28th. He died February the 4th or 5th or 3rd. So he was on life support, but you know how sometimes we are, like, he's already pretty much gone. The family, you know how it is. Like, you don't want to nobody want to let go. Nobody wants to let go. And then he just died on his own. We got a call. I remember my grandma getting a call like that.
And of course, homie, feel free not to answer this question or any other question that I asked you that may be too uncomfortable and stuff. But if you can recall the night of that incident, after your cousin was took to the hospital and all that stuff, do you recall if you got any sleep? And if so, what was it like when you went to sleep and then you woke up?
I can't even fully remember if I got no sleep, bro, because all I know, I think we all went to my auntie house. Something like that, having everybody out, like everybody at the house, everybody out, but like I said, I'm be honest with you, from that point all the way to the time that I went back to the hall, I can't recall nothing. Because I was numb. Because in my mindset, I was, at that time, I had the mindset, like, man, that should have been me. Like, God, like, like, why you take 11-year-old kid? You know what I'm saying? Why do you take a 12-year-old kid that didn't even get to see life, that didn't even get to go to prom, graduate high school, and he was a good kid, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't no rowdy kid. He wasn't nobody else gang banging. He wasn't in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was basically following behind us. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I could kind of say I blamed me and God at the same time. So I was kind of like numb. Like, I was numb.
And so also in that unfortunate incident, you said your homeboy also lost his life, and you said you guys looked at him, you didn't want to leave him, but you said he was already gone, and there was nothing that you guys could do. You know, you may have some people out there that's of course not part of gangs, don't have gang mentalities, and so they may be wondering how were you able to just leave your homie was so, and how did you guys leave? Did you just leave the car? Of course you just left the stolen car and just
we left, I believe, at the time, dog. Like I said, I can't fully remember, man. I think we left and went to the Zions. I didn't want to go home. Like I think I walked over to the Zions because they hood was right there. I didn't even go to Delma Heights. Me and my homies just walked over there. You know, so we just like honestly, bro, like I can't even remember what exactly happened after it because I was like gone. Like it was just like I said, it felt like a dream. Like you know how when you've been in a dream and something happened in a dream, a nightmare, you be trying to wake up. Like that's how it felt. Like it
right.
just felt like a dream. It didn't really come to like it didn't set into me until I believe at his wake what had happened.
And so by the time the police and the ambulance showed up at the AMPM, you and your other homie was gone. And so your other homie, you and your other homie, neither one of you guys was hit with any bullets?
No, we wasn't hit. No, not at all.
Uh-huh.
Any raised, and not even a cut, nothing.
Wow, homie. And so now fast forward to the wake, you said it, and it finally kind of dawned on you, okay, that your little 11-year-old cousin has lost his life. Now, as you are older and you're looking back on everything, how do you think that just affected you mentally?
Man, you know, I got the 666 on my back, chill. You seen, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you seen it, but I didn't care, man. Like, and I think that's what kept a lot of people from me, and I think that's what kept my family sheltering me more than blaming me, because I called his oldest sister, which is my cousin. You know, we got a real good relationship. You know, so I called her and asked her, I was like, damn, like. Like I called her and I asked her. I said, "Have your mama ever blamed me?"
Take your time, homie.
And she said she didn't really blame you, but she was just like, why he wasn't in the front seat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she's like, you know, I didn't have no answers. So, but you know, because I told her I was going to do this interview. I actually got the permission from her to do this interview. You know what I'm saying? Not to do the interview, but to talk about this subject. And she was nah, she didn't blame you. But like I said, like my family, like I don't even recall nobody blaming me. I mean, I had more blame towards my so-called homies at that time, trying to blame me, getting at me weird and sideways and stuff like that, homie. I was a kid, so my whole objective was, okay, I ain't worried about what y'all saying. I want to go get these dudes. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid too, homie, and I couldn't do nothing, homie. I wasn't no homies trying to get me and say, let's go do this or let me go do this. I don't know if they, felt like, I was too young or we gonna handle it, you know what I'm saying? But, it was little. Like, I did some stupid stuff one time. Me and my female cousin hopped in the car and, had a little 32, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it wasn't nothing, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like nobody in my family like blamed me. They was sheltering me, dude. Like and it seemed like from that point, I was a golden person in that family, dog. Like everybody like took a liking to me, and everybody like sheltered me, like so.
And so let me ask you a question just to make sure I heard you right. at the start of the last question, you said that you ended up getting 666 tattooed on your back. So for the people out there, let's think about that, man. I mean, dang, here is a 14 or 15-year-old kid, and he goes through something so traumatic and traumatizing to him that it makes him believe, it makes him give up his hope in any belief of God or a higher power, so on and so forth. And he tattoos 666 on his back. So that's extremely, man, that's extremely sad. And it's just, to me, it's revealing of the pain that he was suffering as a young kid, where he felt so hurt and so betrayed by God or higher power that he tattooed what is known as the mark of the devil on him. And so I don't even know what to ask next, homie. That was crazy. About what age do you think you were when you got the 666 tattooed on you? Did you get it immediately after the shooting?
No, I wasn't immediately. It was like once I got out youth authority, once all that happened, and I ended up going to youth, because I think I was juvenile hall like 90 days after we buried him. I think I was juvenile hall like 90 days after that. For beating up the school security guard up a mother homie. You know what I'm saying? So, so I end up when I got out of YA, then it was just like I said, chill. Like when I got out, I was standing in front of my house. My grandmother ended up moving to the hood after my cousin got killed. After the funeral, about no more than 30 days, she moved back to the, because she didn't want us walking back and forth. Because she like, man, if they out here killing kids and y'all walking back, I don't want none of your friends coming over here getting killed, or y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go back over there so y'all gonna be over there. So she moved us back over there to be safe. You know what I'm saying? So, I ended up going to Hawaii after she moved over there. But you know how Hawaii, when she moved back over there, then when I got out, I remember I was in front of my auntie house. I was in front of my grandmother's house, and my homeboy, Star, pulled up. He come flying up the street. And he looked, and he come flying. He's like, "What's up, man?" So I hopped in the car with him. He was like, "Man, like, what's up?" I said, "What's up, man?" And he like, so we just driving around talking or whatever. And I didn't want to ask him a question. Like, man, if we cool with these dudes, like, I didn't want to ask him. So when we riding around, we went through the little thing, and we ended up finna go through there. And I was like, "What you doing, man?" He was like, I was like, "No, man, we cool." I said, "I'm not cool with these dudes." So, but we ended up going through there anyway. We ended up going through there, because he had family that lived over there.
Going through the same neighborhood where your cousin lost his life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It wasn't that I was scared to not go through there, but I'm like, don't take me through there, because I don't approve of what's actually going on with y'all and them. Like, I don't approve of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be around them. You know
right. And so let's let the viewers know. So by the time you had done your 18 or 19 months and got out, that neighborhood and your neighborhood had formed a truce, and they was basically kicking it and chilling together at times.
Yeah, that they started kicking, like, because I was told that they had the meeting in '96, so it had to be shortly, like right after my cousin got killed. You know what I'm saying? This was, I wasn't there, so this was what was told to me. So, like I said, when he would go through there, he like, I was like, man, I'm like, nah, man. So we ended up going through there anyway. So when we go to the hood, back over to my grandma's house, he ended up dropping me off. So later on, things, so I seen like my homeboys interacting with him, like they coming through, hopping out the cars, talking to the homies, and the homies going through there, like, like a lot of my homies at the time that I considered my older homies, that I don't consider them my older homies now. You know what I'm saying? They just my homies. You feel me? So at that time, I was considering them my older homies. So I didn't approve of it, but I felt like by me being the little homie, I got to roll with the punches, because this was basically, I felt like this was a G call from the older homie. So I got to deal with it. So, and I think that what was eating me up the most, because I didn't want to deal with it. Like, I wanted revenge. You feel me? So what happened was, there was a situation when four of them dudes had came over to the hood, and they was hanging in the hood.
And please just give me one more second. Let me just say this for those out there who may not be familiar with the California gang lingo or whatever. Basically, he's saying that when he said it was a G call made, he's basically saying that due to the fact that him still being young, not having a lot of status in the hood at that particular time, he had older homies who he looked up to. He felt that if they made a unified decision to be on peaceful terms with the neighborhood where his cousin had lost his life, by him being a younger homie, he just pretty much had to listen and agree with that. He couldn't go against the grain, even though he felt hurt that his homies had made that decision. Is that pretty correct?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because at that time, it's like a lot of them dudes prior to that situation, a lot of dudes I looked up to, like my big homie Big Rock, like a lot of the homies, like I look because time is different than what it was back then. Like we used to listen to our OG homies, you know what I'm saying, right or wrong, like it was protocol, you know what I'm saying. So it's like now that don't even exist no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like back then, I felt like if I was living in the time I'm living now, that would happen. Oh no, we wouldn't have been cool. But which I'm not gonna say something good came out of this because my cousin lost his life. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, like when they came over, bro, like when they came over and it was nighttime, so they were shooting dice, and I was in the yard. Now I'm hanging with my little crew. Now my little crew, the ones I said used to basically, I don't say look up to me like I'm their big homie, because we was always equal, all of us, you know what I'm saying. But they kind of looked towards me as the leader of the pack. So
Right.
now all my little homies, and then they're one of the dudes that's my best friend right now. He's one of the ones. You know what I'm saying. So now he like whatever you want to do. So I said, what you saying? And I said, come on. So when we hit the fence, my older homies seen us and they like, nah. So it's like four of us. We hit the fence and we was finna, get it right back cracking with the dudes. So the older homies like, nah, man, what y'all doing? Woo.
So what you're saying is while y'all was out there chilling, some dudes who grew up and who were from the other neighborhood in which your cousin lost his life, they had came over to you guys' neighborhood because now everybody's on friendly terms, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They came over there to kick it. Like I said, they was kicking it, shooting dice and kicking it. But I was always to the side. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, that in particular night when we jumped that gate, when we hit that gate, man, and my homie, you know what I'm saying, which is, I can say his name because he gave me permission, which is Ray. He's seen us. Like, oh, nah, man. So he like, what's going on? I was like, nah. So, I started crying, like, man, and he's like, nah, man. Woo. So now the dudes that was from over there was like, hold on, man, what's going on? So now everybody moving like they. I'm gonna keep 100 with you, bro. Like I'm cool with all of them, and actually, you know what I'm saying. I'm you know what I'm saying. Right now I'm cool with them. They was kind of like, I'm keeping 100. They were scared. Like they didn't want to leave the yard. Like you know what I'm saying. So we had them not even want to leave the yard. Like they like, man, what's going on? But they not knowing what's going on. But they know what's going on. They not knowing like what's going on.
But they just had bad feelings knowing that you had lost your cousin's life, and so now they see you making funny moves, and
that's the thing. So they didn't know. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know I was driving that car. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just a straight. Then forgot about it. I died in the car. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't know who I was. I mean, they know who I am, but they didn't know that I was the one driving that car. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So they like, hold on, because they thinking it's cool. So they thinking like, honestly, they probably thinking like we got some internal stuff going on, but not knowing like, man, like these dudes is finna save y'all live. Like y'all finna, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all not finna leave about this. You know what I'm saying? Like so some of the homies grabbing us, like not grabbing us, but talking to us. So they put us back in my grandma's yard and like, man, woo, woo, woo. And I just go in the house and I shut the door and I sat on my grandma. My grandma used to have a blue chair with the plastic on it. I'm sitting on the chair and I'm just like, I'm not crying, but I'm crying because I'm mad and like tears coming down my eyes. My grandma coming and she like, well, what's like my grandma already knew like what's going on. So she was like, oh yeah. She said, your friends, huh? I said, I'm just sitting there. She said, see, I told you, you always tell your friends your friends. So, and then now it's not really a tension between us and them. They like more like, damn, like what's going on? So now they like, okay, he the dude that was driving the car, he out, like, you know what I'm saying, he around now. So, you know, I don't want to say what was told to us because they, you know, that's them. And I don't want to create no inner, you know, I don't want to create no inner turmoil with them. But you know, they kind of shifted the blame towards something. You know, a group of dudes over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say. So
Right.
with them,
Okay.
it's like, okay, so we not. You know, that's they. You know, that's them. You know, because even they wasn't even with the peace treaty. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they kind of shifted over to them. So it was little exchange going back and forth between my little crew and they little, you know what I'm saying, they little section that they had over there that the dude that kind of like wasn't, that they kind of like, you know, I mean, I don't want to say, but it was kind of a little, you know, between us two. But overall, my homies in the California Gardens as a, not just as a whole, was still kicking it. So it's like you got two, like a crew in this hood and crew in this hood, even though the bigger crew kicking it, you still got the two crews that still like, you know what I'm saying?
I understand. So you had kind of like two crews within each of you guys' neighborhoods that was kind of still at odds, but not
Like a little bit. It wasn't like no killing
major.
Like, I mean, it was, you know,
Basically, just one crew. One crew kind of wasn't feeling the other crew, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. So, you know, it was gunfire going, like a few gunfires going back and forth. But what was told to me once they said, okay, hold on. So this is what this is over because this that happened on, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. So we all hanging out and we was shocked. Chill. So they all pull up. That little crew that was in the gardens pull up. And when they pulled up, like everybody like shifting around. Like, hold on. So they pull up on me and you know, they pulled up and they pulled right in front of my house. You know, they were like 2-3 cars deep. They pulled up, they all hop out and said, "Oh, we don't want no problem. We come and talk to Lil Rob." And I'm like, "What y'all want to talk to me for? Homie, ain't nothing to talk about." So then my homeboy Dre was like, so he come down, he's like, "What's up?" And they like, "Dre, we want to holler at Lil Rob." So they was like, how? He's like, "Man, get in the car." I'm like, "Man, I ain't getting in y'all car. Y'all nuts." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, why I get in your car? Like, y'all crazy. Like, come on, man. Like, I ain't dumb. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, no. So and then they hopped out of the car and said, no, it's just gonna be y'all two talk, which was one of their older folks over there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? He got in the car and he said, he said, I ain't got no gun. I said, well, shit, I got one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, he's like, so he's like, man, look, he just said, look, on behalf of my family, you know what I'm saying, we apologize. I can't tell you who was involved, I can't tell you who did it, but we apologize, homie. He's like, man, you know what I'm saying, like, y'all was young, y'all was kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit should have never happened. It wasn't meant for y'all. You know, he was like, you know what I'm saying, y'all homies, you know what I'm saying? And he said this in the car. He said, your homie should have told y'all, or you know what I'm saying? But after that shit, it was like, he was like, homie, you know, I said, all right, man. And then like he was like, as I been on the call, he was like, man, you good? You don't need nothing? I said, oh, no, man, I'm good. He was like, your family, y'all don't need nothing? I'm like, y'all don't. I said, shit. I'm like, nah, but I didn't want to bring that shit to my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna say, you know, this dude won't offer us something, you know, but he did. I swear to God, man, like he did, homie. He was like, y'all don't need nothing. Your family good? I'm like, oh, yeah, we good, homie. So I got out the car and everybody started shaking hands and they left. And when they left, my homie Dre said, you got out your system? I was like, man, I just went in the house and sat down and shed a few tears and was like, man, now everybody kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So basically, somebody from that neighborhood who didn't have anything to do with it, but of course he is just by being in that neighborhood, he was associated with those who may have had something to do with it. But he basically came over just to say, hey, homie, we are extremely sorry about what happened, and we didn't want things like that to go that way, and we're apologetic. And pretty much we offering the olive branch. We trying to mend the fence.
I do want to clear something because people take this and take out a concept. They were scared. No, I'm not saying that. They didn't come and apologize on no scary stuff or boundaries.
Right.
It wasn't none, trust me, it wasn't none like that. But you
Right.
have to understand, dog, when you have kids, dog, it was kids, dog. Like, we was babies, dog. We wasn't, you know what I'm saying? So I think that kind of like, you know, that kind of like, that right there, you know, it didn't heal me, you know what I'm saying? But it kind of like helped me have an understanding now, like, damn, like, you know, because you have to understand too that at that time, you know, I hated some of my homies more than I hated them.
Uh-huh.
To be real with you, like, I felt like if those certain individuals that I had like animosity towards would have got out of line with me, homie, yeah, I probably would took my that frustration out on them, because I felt like, dog, like, y'all didn't have no regards, and then it was told to me later on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say who told me this, but it was told me later on that it was said, like, what's up with the two little dudes that survived that was in that car, and it was told to me, like, it's like, oh man, they want to roll the punches. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't come to my family. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all don't come to my family. Y'all don't say nothing to nobody in my family. Y'all just go up on yourselves to like make a call like that. And that's why later on, I always said, dog, y'all not my big homies. Y'all my homeboys. You know what I'm saying? I never looked at them. None of them dudes that was on the streets besides one dude out of all my homies. It's only one dude I ever looked up to as a big homie. Everybody else, I always looked at it like, y'all my equals. Because for one, y'all my equals. I'm the only one. I'm keeping the whole hood on my shoulders, me and my crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. So.
And so let me say this real quick. So basically, what he was saying is that Little Rock here, he felt slighted that when dudes who had some say in his neighborhood made a decision to have a peace treaty back with the neighborhood who he was driving through when his cousin lost his life, they didn't consult you, they didn't ask you how you felt about it, they didn't ask how your family felt about it, and from what you heard, they said, well, the two dudes who was in the car and survived, pretty much they just gonna have to ride with the punches, and that's what he felt upset about. And then also, let me say, keep in mind, when this happened, 86, 87, it was a extremely different time in gangbanging back then. Like I said, back in those days.
96, you said 86.
Oh, excuse me, 96. Yeah, well, 96, you know, it was an extremely different time back in those days. Gang members grew up differently back then in terms of trying not to involve anybody who wasn't gangbanging. So, like you said, when they came over to try to mend the fence or whatever, they definitely wasn't scared, but just their beliefs in gangbanging, their beliefs in who should be shot at and who shouldn't be shot at. Of course, it affected him and made him feel that it was best to come over there and try to let you know that, you know, he was apologetic about what happened, because like I said, back then, you know, it was different, man. Dudes didn't try to involve kids, women, and people who wasn't involved. And man, I definitely appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story, man. I'm gonna tell you guys, definitely stick around for part 2. You know, we a little short on time right now, but part 2, Rock is gonna get into how he, you know, continued to gang bang and eventually was shot 8 or 9 times by the police, and fortunately he survived. You know, so is there anything you want to say in closing, Rock?
Nah, I'm good, man, for right now.
Yeah, well, you guys definitely tune in for part 2, man. Like I said, it's going to be an extremely interesting interview. Unfortunately, Rock went through a whole lot growing up, you know, but fortunately, he's changed his life. He's doing a whole lot better, and he's in a more positive state, man. So, like I said, y'all definitely be sure to tap in for part 2, man. You already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.